Welcome back to Raw Politics. Another candidate has thrown his hat in the ring to replace Jean-Claude Juncker. Former Finnish Prime Minister Alexander Stubb put his name forward for EPP Spitzenkandidat today. And our political editor Darren McCaffrey spent some time with him earlier. Darren, tell us about that.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, that he is somewhat the underdog when it comes to this EPP candidacy. It's going to be decided next month. It's clear, though, that he has got a campaign behind him. As you said, I caught up with him earlier on today, and I started by asking him about his pitch. Why did he want to take on this job? And about whether he was able or will be able to bridge that gap between the East and the West that he seems to argue has opened up. Let's have a watch.
You've talked about trying to bridge these gaps between the East and West, the North and South, and you've talked about how Europe's ideological DNA is based on respect for human dignity, freedom, democracy, equality, the rule of law and human rights. Do you think that's Viktor Orban's DNA?
Well, I don't know about Viktor Orban's DNA. I haven't been studying it, but I think it's a European DNA. I mean, basically, if we don't have values and if we don't stick to them, we have nothing. Remember, the European Union is not an ideological construct of left and right. It's based on values, common values, and they're engraved in Article 2. And my worry is that those values are being attacked both from the outside, Donald Trump, China, Russia, from the inside, countries such as Poland, Italy, perhaps Hungary, and also from inside the EPP with the likes of Viktor Orban.
The point of this, if he doesn't share those values, and Marine Le Pen doesn't either, and the Justin Law Party in Poland doesn't. Why is there a view? Why is there a view of what Europe is and what it should be any less valid than yours?
Probably not less valid, but we're still in a rules-based union. So basically you have common institutions, common values and common laws, and you have to abide by those. And obviously if you violate those, there has to be consequences. Now, I think we pro-Europeans, international liberals, whatever you want to call us, we need to listen to the sound of populism, because, you know, there are things that have gone wrong in Europe. You know, we haven't done well on migration. We're not necessarily very good at this transition to the technological revolution. You know, we should be better on labor issues, etc., etc. So let's listen what these type of people have to say, and then let's try to sort it out. But my point is that in the EPP family, you have a set of values and you have to stick to them. In the European Union, you have a set of values and you have to stick to them. That's the most important thing.
But isn't the problem with populism, from your point of view, that it's actually quite popular?
Well, yes and no. Depends on how you measure it. You always have to compare it to something else. And there's no magic potion to deal with it. You know, in Finland, we took the True Finns into government in 2015. Their popularity rate at the time was 18. Once they came into office and we did austerity measures, we bailed out Greece, and we had the biggest migratory crisis since World War II, their popularity halved. So basically what happens is that when you come into power, usually that power does not do good for your popularity, but there's no magic potion.
Should Jeremy Hunt apologise for the comments he made at the weekend?
I find his comments repugnant, to be quite honest. I think they're ahistorical. And for anyone to compare the European Union with the Soviet Union, which, after all, I would argue, was the source of a lot of misery, deaths of millions of people, you know, it just didn't make sense to me. We've had a couple of these types of comments in Finland, and I've always reacted quite strongly to them. So, you know, again, in today's world, we live in different types of apologize this, apologize that. I just think it was a stupid thing to say.
Just finally, you are pitching yourself to become the new EU Commission President, or the EPP candidate for that. When was the last time that a white, middle-aged man was not the EU Commission President?
I don't think that's it's always been the case. What middle age, yes, but I'd still hope that I can be a little bit a pitch for the next generation of Europe, in the sense that I don't know who the youngest Commission President has been. But
isn't part of the problem here, though, about diversity? You know, 99% of this Parliament is white. It does not reflect Europe. In some ways, it never has, and that's the problem. Does Europe need another person who has always looked like a white middle-aged man. Is that does Europe need that again?
Well, there's not much I can do about my looks, to be honest, and I probably won't. But I will say this, that I do think that we need more diversity also in the look of Europe. And that is, if I become Commission President, remember this is a long haul. It's a one-year race, basically, all in all. I will make sure that, for instance, there will be more women as European commissioners. I think in the Barroso Commission it was about a fifth. In a Juncker Commission, about a third. I'd like to push it, ideally, to about 40%, because that at least gives a little bit better of a picture of Europe. When I was Prime Minister in Finland, over half of the government were women, and I was proud of that.
And what just on, because it is really notable on race, how unreflective the European institutions, the Parliament is on race. Surely more should be done there as well.
Yeah, I think democracy should speak, and we should see different types of variety inside the European Union. I would certainly welcome that.